Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Layla, and for today's video, we're going to be going over my finances for the month of February 2024. I hope y'all had an amazing month and happy March. I'm a little bit bummed because it is such a cold and gloomy day here. Like, it's just been raining all day, super low temperatures. At least for me, I've been cold all day, and it's supposed to be raining for like the next week, and I'm bummed about it. But the finance side of things are looking pretty good. And let me first start with the financial goal that I set for the month of February. So my goal wasn't too specific. It was basically just save as much as possible. I think I threw out the number like at least $2,500. I would say I did do that. Could I have saved more if I didn't spend money in some of the areas that I did spend money? Yes, but I did save well over $2,500 on top of what I invested. So I'm pretty happy with where things are. Plus I finished off a sinking fund, and then I even moved on to another sinking fund, which I didn't expect to do in the month of February. And I added a lot more there than I just didn't expect that. So feeling pretty good about that. So let's go ahead and hop to my spreadsheet so I can break everything down. Okay, now just as a reminder, or if you are new here, I do have a full-time job, and everything from my full-time job is on the right-hand side of this page. And as of right now, I am really just investing and saving that income, which is just absolutely a blessing to even be able to do. I do have a small business that is YouTube, that's blogging, that's financial coaching, and all the things that come with that. And I have now formed an LLC, and I file as an S Corp. So I am on payroll through my business. So the business side of things is the top left-hand corner, and then below that is what I pay myself as an employee at my business. And there is some overlap between everything. So if I have more money from what I earned in my business and I'm able to put some of that to savings, then I do put it to savings. So there is still some overlap because I have the both of them. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. I just like to have the numbers, of course. It's also all my income. So where I put it, it doesn't really matter. This is just how I chose to break down this spreadsheet because it makes the most sense with the way things work. Hopefully it makes sense, but let me know if y'all have any questions. We're gonna start in the top left-hand corner. This is my gross business revenue. And for February, that was higher than I expected. Came to $4,330.03. And then I did have some rollover business revenue. This was just money that I left in my checking account, my business checking account from January, and that was $2,017.37. Now, from that income and from the rollover, I pay myself payroll. So at first I was expecting to do $3,500. I instead lowered this to $2,000 because I decided to start paying myself through a distribution as well. And that is when you just transfer money from your business checking account to your personal checking account. And for February, I ended up doing $2,000. So technically it was $2,000 for payroll and then $2,000 in distribution. So a total of $4,000 coming to me. I'm not going to go into the details and like the whole backstory of why I decided to do this, but I do want to give a thank you to Anita, who I've mentioned quite a few times, who has helped me with this whole like LLC formation and S Corp situation because it's been very confusing, and she's been so helpful just emailing with me back and forth about things. And she was actually the one who suggested to lower my payroll and take the distribution instead. I did look into it more. I always do my own research if I'm not 100% sure about something, and it does make sense for me to do this. And then as far as actual business expenses go, so these are things that I would purchase or pay for specific to my business. I budgeted $200, but ended up going over there. That was $463.44. If you're curious about where I spend my money when it comes to my business, I make a video on this every single month. I also share where my money comes from my business, like how much I earn from YouTube, how much I earn from Etsy, from coaching, all of that. I break it down every single month. That video will be up later this weekend. And then finally, taxes. I wasn't sure what to expect there. So this is just payroll taxes, and for February that was $219. Now if we come down here, this is me paying myself as an employee of my business, and then I like to just keep all of my living expenses over here, like the absolutes that I have to pay for over here. And I'm going to break down my income first. So from business payroll, like I said, that was $2,000 gross. For the distribution, I took an additional $2,000 gross. Extra income came to $891.54, and then I did pull some from my sinking funds. That was from one sinking fund, $866, and I will talk about where that comes in as I go through my expenses. So altogether, over $5,700 to work with for everything here. Taxes, I budgeted $500, ended up being about $768.56. So this is what is taken out of my paycheck from that $2,000 payroll, but also I put some aside to savings because I am taking that distribution. So I still have to pay taxes on that as well. Donate, I did donate $100. House and utilities, I budgeted $1,177. That ended up being $1,180. One of the bills came in a little bit higher. Household, I budgeted $100, and this one is where it went a little cray-cray. $2,090.33. You can see the breakdown here. So my boyfriend and I did purchase, we went to a mattress firm and tried out the beds. The sales guy was incredible, super helpful, and I'm so glad we ended up purchasing a mattress because it has helped tremendously. We upgraded to a king size, we upgraded to a Tempur-Pedic, and we really like it. So because we got the mattress and it changed in size, we also had to get a bed frame, ended up getting new nightstands, got lamps for those nightstands, we had to get new sheets, we had to get new comforters. All of these things my boyfriend and I were splitting in half, like 50-50, and that is where the $866 comes in from my sinking fund. So that's all I had left in my furniture sinking fund. I did spend more than I expected to for everything with the furniture, but I'm fine with that, but did deplete it. We also, our couch, we ordered back in January, but it did get delivered in February, which is crazy because it feels like that was like months ago that it ended up being delivered, but it was just a few weeks ago. Because of that, I did end up ordering pillows and pillowcases for the couch specifically, and then I did start working on my garden, which the garden is much more expensive than I expected it to be because of like soil, the fertilizer. I already had purchased the garden beds a few months ago, but I did end up buying some yard bags, a container for my soil. I also bought a new plant for my office. So yeah, obviously quite a bit over budget under household, $1,990 plus over budget, but it is nice to just be done with all of the furniture at this point. The garden is not completely done in, when we get to actual spring, I will need to buy like some plants and vegetables, but that is going to be either March or April. So we'll see. Groceries, I budgeted $400. Went over budget here too, didn't I? Yeah. $495.76. I put a note that I bought more coffee this month, as well as another 2 tubs of protein, which at this point, it's been on a monthly basis. So lately, my boyfriend has been using my coffee, which is fine, completely fine. But because of that, like that's not how it was before. So we're just running through the coffee a lot faster. And I usually buy in bulk. So it ends up being like $50, $60 each time I order coffee. 2 tubs of protein, that right there is like $60. So, I mean, I don't think this is too bad for everything that I ended up buying, including all my groceries. So, a little over budget, but not stressing about that. Food out, budgeted $75. That ended up being $80.98. I did break this out. So my boyfriend and I went to Flower Child. I paid for that. We also went to Jenny's Ice Cream, which I did pay for. Kava, I went myself, and then I reloaded my Starbucks card, which did put me over the budget. You can't do like just a $5 reload. It has to be like a minimum of 10, so that's annoying. But $5.98 over budget, nothing too bad there. Gas for my car, I budgeted $60. Only got gas once, so that was $32.41. Health and beauty, budgeted $200. That was $188.11. So you can see a breakdown of what I ended up purchasing here. A couple of co-pays, my medications, some vitamins, some personal hygiene stuff, but did stay under budget, so that's good. For the dogs, I budgeted $162.01 as usual, but that ended up being $100, and you'll see why when I get to travel. Netflix was $23.48. Gym is $39.99. Personal, I budgeted $150. Stayed under budget, which is good. $133.18. I did want to keep this lower, like basically at nothing, but I did buy some house slides, like some shoes for the house, and then I got another pair of sneakers. I did buy 2 pairs of sweatpants that I absolutely love because I had bought one, and then I bought 2 more of the same because they're just amazing. And I purchased 1 book, and that was a used book, so not too bad there. And then travel, budgeted $100. That ended up being $172.29, and this is where it's made up for the dog. So my sister and I are taking a little road trip together in April, so we purchased paid for the Airbnb, and it was $172 total. We're literally just staying for one night. I just lowered what I paid her for the dogs because, yeah, we basically kind of split that. And then the final thing on here is a gift. I purchased a pair of house shoes for my boyfriend, which I would say is a gift. I didn't pull from my sinking funds. That was just $22.68. Altogether, I still had enough in business earnings to pay for everything, which is good. And this was definitely a higher spend month because of the household category, and that's not something that's going to occur going forward. So yeah, this looks really good. And then over here is how I spent my money from my full-time job. For my full-time job, I am a Salesforce consultant, and I have a number of videos on how I got into this career. But my gross earnings, $5,880. For my 401k, I contribute 32% of my paycheck, so that is $1,881.60. Taxes, $8.99.44, and then insurance, $117.22. Everything in the blue section, these are my sinking funds. So for gifts, I put $75. Car maintenance is $350. Car insurance is $115. Beauty, I didn't put anything because I finished that in January. Travel, I ended up putting $605.68, even though I didn't expect to be able to put anything. Emergency fund, $0. And then business sinking fund, I did end up finishing that. My goal there was a total of $4,000, so all I had to put in there was $1,896.65 to reach that, which is good, and that's why I was able to put more to my travel sinking fund. So that's it for my spending. Let's go over to my annual tracker. First up are going to be all of my sinking funds or all of my savings, and these are all in Marcus by Goldman Sachs, which are earning an interest currently of 5.5%. So these are the final balances from the last day of February after the interest came through. Taxes, that is at $905.39. Emergency fund, $12,394.05. Gifts, $769.18. Travel, $610.11. Car maintenance, $3,143.60. Car insurance, $349.72. Beauty, $3,026.45. Sabbatical, I didn't add anything to that, so that's $106. House down payment, $104.12. Furniture/home, like I said, I depleted that, so that's now at 74 cents. 2025 Roth IRA, nothing there, so $1.73. And then business, I did finish out. That ended up being at $4,012.06. So quite a bit in savings, a total of $25,318.21. So let's move on to my investments. Roth IRA, everything looks so good here. Just by the way, it's super exciting. So Roth IRA, $33,885.50. So I am up 5.4% compared to January. 401k, $27,438.86, up 12.7% compared to last month. That's just because I'm putting so much more to my 401k, and it's cool. Plus I get like the company match, and it's just crazy how quickly that has grown. It's really cool to see. M1 Invest, this is a brokerage account, $7,529.73, up 5.3%. My Vanguard brokerage account is at $1,277.04, up 4.8%. And then finally, Coinbase reached the highest balance I've ever had in this account at $855.70, up 45% compared to last month. This is because Bitcoin is going crazy. And the bulk of the money that I have in here is in Bitcoin. These are all things that I had purchased some crypto years ago, and then there's like a bunch of referrals in there, so that's where that all comes from, and this is the highest I've ever seen it. It's actually even higher now. Like I checked before I was filming, and it's like 870 something. The thing with crypto is that the markets never close, so I had recorded this balance at like 8 p.m. last night, but it just keeps going up and down at all hours of the day. I don't see myself investing in crypto any further. Like I probably won't put more money here, but I think I just want to, I don't know, like I could sell those funds and put them elsewhere, but I think I'm just gonna leave it there because I think Bitcoin will continue to go up. I mean, over the last month, it's gone from like, I think it was at 19,000 and now it's at 62 plus. So it's incredible what happens with that. But it was surprising to log into there and see that. So altogether, I have $70,986.83 invested, which is the most I've ever had invested altogether in my life. Before I go down to my net worth, I will say that all the numbers that I just went through are accounted for in my net worth, except I exclude my tax savings just because I'm going to have to pay that. Like in April, the money's going to be gone. So I just exclude it. I don't include the value of my car. That's just personal preference. If you want to include it, that's completely fine. I do not. And then the only other thing that I add into there is the final balance in my checking account. So that is accounted for right here. And you can see all together, if we add everything up, my net worth is $98,736.63, which is so close, so close to 100K. When I was adding my numbers up, like especially, it was before the interest came through on my high yield savings account, and I was just like plugging in some numbers, seeing what was possible. It was actually a little bit higher because I was including my tax savings, and I forgot that I don't include that. So this was like 400 away from 100K. And honestly, I did get a little bit emotional. Like it was just such a wow moment for me. Like, I don't know, going to zero was, I think going from negative $82,000 to zero was definitely harder because it's been much faster to go from zero to almost 100K. But for some reason, getting to this is like cooler to me. Like, I don't know, maybe not. I would have to go back and think about how I felt when I hit zero and when I hit debt freedom, all of that stuff. But I am really looking forward to the month of March and, you know, the end of March and adding all my numbers up because I know 100% I'm going to hit 100K. Like, I have to. So here's my net worth tracker so far for 2024. Big jump from January to February. Looks a little weird because the rest of the year isn't there, of course. And then here's my chart for everything from the beginning of 2021 through now. And it is just skyrocketing at this point. Like, wow, big jumps here. Just going up and up. Last number on this sheet would be my credit score. This also has been going up, even though I'm like opening credit cards left and right, and I don't know, it just keeps going up. So I'm happy about that. When I checked yesterday, it was at 811. So looking good still. Last thing to go over would be my goal tracker for 2024. This template is available for purchase on my Etsy shop. Goal number 1, max out my 401k. I did add the $18.81.60, so just slowly chipping away at that. We can do $23,000 total for 2024. I would like to reach a net worth of 150K. So in February, I saw an increase of $7,455.47, so a little bit more than last month. I want to make at least $100,000 total from gross earnings. February, that was $10,210.03. I'd like to make $50,000 or more from my business income. So for February, that was $4,330.03. Emergency fund, I want to get it to 18K. Didn't add anything aside from the interest, and that was $51.96. So slowly getting there. Travel fund, I didn't think I would be adding anything, but I added $605.68. So I am, how close? 12.1% of the way to my $5,000 goal. For my business sinking fund, I did already achieve this goal. Added $1,908.71, including the interest, so now over $4,000 there. Beauty sinking fund, I did finish this last month, but all that was added was the interest, $12.82, so a little bit over that now. And then I want to spend less than $50,000, and this is spending specifically on things outside of my investments, my savings, and business expenses. So for February, was still pretty high at $4,659.21, but for the rest of the year, this should be quite a bit lower. So far, so good. That's everything for me for the month of February. Please feel free to comment down below how the month went for you. Did you have any wins, any setbacks? Did you hit your goals? Anything that you were comfortable with sharing? Please comment those down below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next one.